Have you ever looked at a huge company with all its thousands of moving parts and just wondered, how do they do it? How do they make smart, effective decisions day in and day out? Well, I can tell you, it's not magic. It's a structured way of thinking. It's like a toolkit for turning chaos into clarity. So let's open it up and see what's inside.
I mean, really think about it. The scale of a global corporation is just staggering. How on earth do they coordinate everything to hit their goals so consistently? Well, the secret, it often comes down to one key role: the operations manager.
You see, every single day, operations managers are getting bombarded with these 5 fundamental questions. What do we need? When do we need it? Where are we going to do the work? How are we going to do it? And who's going to do it? Get any one of these wrong and you're looking at budget blowouts, missed deadlines, and a lot of unhappy customers. The pressure is absolutely immense.
So yeah, at their very core, operations managers are the chief planners and the ultimate decision makers. Their ability to navigate these questions is what directly determines if the organization sinks or swims. They're the ones steering the entire ship.
Now, to handle that kind of complexity, you can't just rely on a gut feeling. Nope. The really effective managers, they use a powerful set of mental tools to break down problems and make truly informed choices. Think of it as their decision-making toolkit. So you ready? Let's take a look inside.
All right, our very first tool is all about creating a map before you start the journey. I mean, you wouldn't try to navigate a brand new country without one, would you? Of course not. And in the world of business, that map is called a model. It's a way to simplify a really complex situation so you can actually wrap your head around it. And here's the official definition. A model is an abstraction of reality, a simplified representation of something. The key words there are abstraction and simplified. See, a good model intentionally leaves out all the little irrelevant details to force you to focus on the most important parts of the problem. It cuts through the noise.
And these models, they come in a few different flavors. You've got your physical models. Think of a scale model of a new building. They look just like the real thing. Then things get a little more abstract with schematic models. These are your blueprints, your sales charts, your graphs. And finally, you have mathematical models, the most abstract of all, using formulas and equations to represent things like financial performance. Each one is the right tool for a different job.
So, you've used a model to create your map of the problem. And what does that map almost always show you? Well, it shows that there are a bunch of different paths you could take, and guess what? None of them are perfect. Every single path involves balancing competing priorities. And that, my friends, brings us to our second tool, the art of the trade-off.
Let's look at a classic business trade-off: inventory. On one hand, if a company keeps a huge inventory of its products, customers are thrilled, right? Everything's always in stock. But the downside? That is a ton of money just sitting in a warehouse. On the flip side, keeping inventory low saves a boatload of cash, but now you're risking running out of stock and losing customers. See the dilemma? The manager's job is to find that sweet spot right in the middle.
And here's the crucial point. Trade-offs are absolutely everywhere. Operations people are constantly, and I mean constantly, weighing the pros and cons of every single choice. It's not about finding some perfect, magical answer. It's about making the best possible decision you can, given all the competing factors at play.
But how do you know which trade-off is the right one to make? That takes perspective. It means you have to take a step back and see the entire system, because a decision that looks great for one department might actually be terrible for the company as a whole.
This idea is at the very heart of what's called the systems approach. It's this powerful concept that all the parts of a business, marketing, finance, operations, you name it, are all interconnected. You can't just tweak one thing over here without it causing ripples everywhere else. The health of the entire organization is way more important than the efficiency of any one little part.
Okay, so if everything is interconnected, doesn't that just sound even more complicated? If a tiny change in purchasing affects manufacturing, which then messes with marketing, I mean, where do you even begin? How do you figure out your priorities? Well, this is where our next tool comes in handy. It's called the Pareto phenomenon, and it's an incredibly powerful concept that says in almost any situation, a very small number of factors are responsible for the vast majority of the results. It's the simple but totally profound idea that not all problems are created equal.
You've probably heard this called the 80-20 rule, and once you start looking for it, you see it everywhere. Seriously, you probably wear 20% of your clothes 80% of the time, right? Well, in business, a manager might find that 80% of all customer complaints come from just 20% of their products. By focusing all their energy on that vital few, they can get a massive result with limited resources, instead of getting lost in the weeds with the trivial many.
So there you have it. 3 incredibly powerful tools that really form the core of an operations manager's toolkit. Let's do a quick recap of how they all fit together to build this really structured way of making decisions.
It's a process, really. First, you use a model to map out the problem and simplify it. That map then reveals the inevitable trade-offs you're going to have to make. And finally, you use a systems perspective, along with the 80-20 rule, to decide which trade-offs matter most. It helps you focus your energy where it will actually make a difference.
And, here's the most important takeaway from all of this. This toolkit, it isn't just for CEOs at Fortune 500 companies. It's a clear, logical way of thinking that you can apply to almost any complex decision in your own life, whether it's about your career, your finances, or even just a personal project.
So, I'll leave you with a question to chew on. Which one of these tools, making a model, weighing the trade-offs, or finding the vital few, could help you improve just one decision you have to make this week? Give it some thought.